This is He Knows Everything, bringing you that heat and far. We keeping a foot on the what? The geeks. We keeping a foot on the what? The geeks. And like the Tibetan Mastiff that I am, man. Like the Siberian Tiger that I am, I'm applying what? Unlimited pressure. Because pressure does what? Heat versus pipes. Let's talk about it, man. Alright, let's delve right into it. When we sit here and we look at Brooklyn Nets, we look at a beautiful storm. We look at a team that is well put together. It's a well-oiled machine. See, basketball has to be symmetrical. What do I mean when I say symmetrical? Your parts have to fit. You got to make sure that everybody that's playing is everybody that's supposed to be on your basketball team. Kyrie Irving doesn't get in the way of Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant doesn't get in the way of James Harden. All of these guys know how to willingly defer. They know how to swing the pendulum swing. They know how to make sure that when the pendulum is swinging, it's swinging in the right curve, the right aisle, the right needle of the damn situation. And what is the right curve, the aisle, the needle of the damn situation? Which is as simple as this, that when it's all said and done, where Brooklyn is at is where Brooklyn is at, and Brooklyn's finest is in the damn building. Kevin Durant plays off the ball. James Harden is a playmaker. Yes, James Harden has to have the ball in his hands, but James Harden can also play off the ball. Kyrie Irving can play off the ball. This is why it works. Kyrie Irving can play point guard, but he can also play shooting guard. Shooting guards don't need to have the ball in their hands. They get the ball sent to them. They get the ball passed to them. They can also be point guards, but they can also play off ball. That's what Kyrie Irving is, an off-ball guard. Kevin Durant is an off-ball forward. He's a point forward. But he's also, I don't need the ball in my hands to dominate forward. This is why Brooklyn works. This is why this is the opposite of the Los Angeles Fakers. Because the Brooklyn Nets are symmetrical. Blake Griffin does not need the ball in his hands for 23 seconds. Because he plays high percentage basketball. He plays around the fucking rim. LaMarcus Aldridge, if they can get him back, he gets the ball fed into them. Do you see the difference? Do you see the delineation? Do you see the distinction? You see the gulf and you see the separation? This is why the Brooklyn Nets are going to win. And this is why the Fakers are going to lose. Because basketball is a symmetrical sport. Symmetry is involved. Accordance is involved. Playing in line with one another is involved. And if you don't have that together, I'm sorry to tell you, you are finding yourself in what we call a precarious situation. Brooklyn Nets are not in a precarious situation because the Brooklyn Nets have decided a long time ago to put the right pieces together, to ensure that these right pieces fit, to ensure that these right pieces work, and to ensure that these right pieces will do what these right pieces are incumbent of doing with one another. When it's all said and done, we're asking ourselves big questions here. And what is the big fucking question? And where Brooklyn is at is where Brooklyn is at. And we're asking ourselves even bigger questions here. And what is the bigger question that we're asking ourselves? That Brooklyn's finest is in the building. And that Brooklyn's finest is here to stay. And that Brooklyn's finest is here to dominate. And that Brooklyn's finest is here to do what Brooklyn's finest is incumbent upon doing. And you want to know what they're incumbent upon doing? Which is to dominate the game of basketball. Which is to prove that when it's all said and done, where Brooklyn is at is where Brooklyn is at. And Brooklyn's finest is here to stay. Vernon Maxwell prophesied that the Brooklyn Nets will win the finals this year. He knows everything, salutes him. Vernon Maxwell knows a thing or two about winning because Vernon Maxwell won back-to-back, part of that Houston Rockets team that was led by Hakeem Olajuwon. So he is certified, he is authorized, he is verified, and he is calculated to say it. Because he understands the perfect storm that is going to happen with where Brooklyn at, where Brooklyn at, where Brooklyn at, where Brooklyn at. Because when Biggie said it, he didn't ask a question, he made an emphatic statement. The emphatic statement that Biggie made was as simple as telling you in its most cold-hearted, in telling you in its most unadulterated, and in telling you in its most cutthroat fashion that where Brooklyn is at is where Brooklyn is at. And Brooklyn's finest is here in the building to stay. But they're going to dominate. And they're going to prove a quintessential point. And the quintessential point that they're going to prove, the domination that they're going to display, is that they are symmetrical. They play in accordance with one another. They've already understand and ingratiated themselves in the system. The chemistry is built. That is not the case with the Los Angeles Fakers. What we're going to see with the Los Angeles Fakers is a desperate attempt to try to counter, to try to go up against where Brooklyn is at. But what we're going to realize, it's erosion. They're going to erode in front of you. They're going to explode in front of you. They're going to basically decapitate in front of you. They're going to eradicate in front of you. Because when it's all said and done, that's exactly what's going to happen with the Los Angeles Fakers. But that's not what's going to happen with the Brooklyn Nets. Because Kevin Durant is the most dominant NBA superstar the NBA's ever seen without needing the basketball in his hands. That's the single greatest underlying difference, undercurrent difference between him and LeBron James. LeBron James needs to clog the ball for 23 seconds to give you a similitude of dominance, but lacking the fullness of it thereof. But that's not the case for Kevin Durant, Mr. KD Trey 5, Mr. Do Me and I Chill, the 50, 40, 90 walking gazelle. Because when it's all said and done, that's what he's all about. Being a walking gazelle. Being a 50, 40, 90 walking gazelle. Being a dominant basketball player that could drop 50 and 60 points without needing to bring the rock up. That's the separation. That's the delineation. That's the golf, and that's the division that's associated behind LeBron James and KD Trey 5. We're seeing the difference between one guy dominating but don't need the ball like that versus another guy who dominates but fucking needs the ball like that. Because that guy has to have the ball, and it has to be incumbent upon him that the ball has to be in his hands. Because guess what? That's the only way he knows how to dominate. That won't be the case with KD Trey 5. Because the chemistry is already set up. The chemistry is already put in place. The chemistry is already linked. So when it's all said and done, we have to ask ourselves a delineation, a distinction, a golf, and a separation. And what is that? That the 22 NBA Finals is going to be the Brooklyn Nets versus the Los Angeles Fakers. But the fate of the 22 NBA Finals is going to showcase to you guys why the Brooklyn Nets belong and why the Fakers don't. I can't wait, because it will be the third time that Kevin Durant nullifies LeBron James. I can't wait to see what these Rudy Poo and Plum brains, classic Hilton troglodytes, ultra fanboys with the ultra fanboy rhetorics, i.e. LeBron tards, LBJ Riders Media, LBJ Brigade, LBJ Apologists, LBJ Stands. I can't wait to see what they have to say. What's going to be your excuse at that point that Kevin Durant nullified LeBron James 3 times in the NBA Finals? If you don't give Kevin Durant credit then you're proving what he knows everything always knew about you from day one. You are a fucking hater. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cut-through truth teller fashion. I keeps the foot on the what on the X. I keeps the foot on the what on the X. This is He Knows Everything. Check it out.